And finally, we feel depressed. All of us want to believe that there is some purpose and meaning to our life, that we are connected to something larger than ourselves. We want to feel some weight and significance to what we have done. Without that conviction, we experience an emptiness and depression that we will ascribe to other factors. Understand, this feeling of being lost and confused is not anyone's fault. It is a natural reaction to having been born into times of great change and chaos. There is no need to look for gurus or to grow nostalgic for the past and its certainties. A compass and guidance system does exist. It comes from looking for and discovering the individual purpose to our lives. It is the path taken by the greatest achievers and contributors to the advancement of human culture, and we only have to see the path to take it. What is going on, world? In this video, we're gonna take things in a different style here. So if you guys are following me on Instagram, you probably know that right now I'm reading The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. I think this book is amazing for helping you develop like an armor in the world for when dealing with other human beings out there. I think the social factor of us as human beings heavily affects us. I believe, just like everything in the world, that life is very situational and every factor affects us as human beings, and the social is a huge factor that I believe a lot of people don't discuss. Now, if you guys are following along my journey recently, I just launched the Optimize course. Now, the Optimize course is taking all the skills and knowledge that I've been experimenting and developing over the last 10 years of my life and over the last 5 years here on my YouTube channel and sharing it with you guys so you guys don't have to fail in the ways that I did. And you can take all the skills and knowledge that I've developed and all the experiments that I've done, and you can level up faster. Now, there's a whole section in the course on the social, and this is stuff that right now at the age of 29, almost 30 years old, that I'm heavily experimenting with right now, and I'm heavily developing the knowledge. So in the Optimized course, I'm covering several sections and several pieces from this book that I believe is going to armor you up and give you the skills and knowledge on how to go out there in the world and interact with other human beings, how to optimize the social factor that affects us as social beings, as social animals in this world. Now, I just shared a lecture in there for free, as well as in the mind, on having a sense of purpose or else becoming depressed. So as I mentioned, we're gonna steer in a little bit of a different way here, and I want to share this little section of the book. So let's just dive right into having a sense of purpose or being depressed. In the world today, we humans face a particular predicament. As soon as our schooling ends, we suddenly find ourselves thrown into the work world, where people can be ruthless and the competition is fierce. Only a few years before, if we were lucky, our parents met many of our needs and were there to guide us. In some cases, they were overprotective. Now we find ourselves on our own, with little or no life experience to rely upon, to have to make decisions and choices that will affect our entire future. In the not-so-distant past, people's career and life choices were somewhat limited. They would settle into the particular jobs or roles available to them and stay there for decades. Certain older figures, mentors, family members, religious leaders could offer some direction if needed. But such stability and help is hard to find today as the world changes ever more quickly. Everyone is caught up in the harsh struggle to make it. People have never been so preoccupied with their own needs and agendas. The advice of our parents might be totally antiquated in this new order. Facing this unprecedented state of affairs, we tend to react in one of two ways. Some of us, excited by all the changes, actually embrace this new order. We are young and full of energy. The smorgasbord of opportunities offered by the digital world dazzles us. We can experiment, try many different jobs, have many different relationships and adventures. Commitments to a single career or person feel like unnecessary restrictions on this freedom. Obeying orders and listening to authority figures is old-fashioned. Better to explore, have fun, and be open. A time will come when we will figure out what exactly to do with our lives. In the meantime, maintaining the freedom to do as we wish and go where we please becomes our main motivation. Some of us, however, react the opposite way. Frightened of the chaos, we quickly opt for a career that is practical and lucrative, hopefully related to some of our interests but not necessarily. We settle on an intimate relationship. We may even continue to cling to our parents. What motivates us is to somehow establish the stability that is so hard to find in this world. Both paths, however, tend to lead to some problems further down the road. In the first case, trying so many things out, we never really develop solid skills in one particular area. We find it hard to focus on a specific activity for too long because we are so used to flighting around and distracting ourselves, which makes it doubly hard to learn new skills if we want to. Because of this, our career possibilities begin to narrow. We become trapped into moving from one job to another. We might now want a relationship that lasts, but we haven't developed the tolerance for compromise, and we cannot help but bristle at the restrictions to our freedom that a lasting relationship will represent. Although we might not like to admit it ourselves, our freedom can begin to wear on us. In the second case, the career we committed to in our 20s might begin to feel a bit lifeless in our 30s. We chose it for particular purposes, and it has little connection to what actually interests us in life. It begins to feel like just a job. Our minds disengage from the work, and now that smorgasbord of opportunities in the modern world begins to tempt us as we reach midlife. Perhaps we need some new, exciting career or relationship or adventure. In either case, we do what we can to manage our frustrations, but as the years go by, we start to experience bouts of pain that we cannot deny or repress. We are generally unaware of the source of our discomfort, the lack of purpose and true direction in our lives. This pain comes in several forms. We feel increasingly bored, not really engaged in our work. We turn to various distractions to occupy our restless minds. But by the law of diminishing returns, we need to continually find new and stronger forms of diversion. The latest trend in entertainment, travel to an exotic location, a new guru or cause to follow, hobbies that are taken up and abandoned quickly, addictions of all kinds. Only when we are alone or in our down moments do we actually experience the chronic boredom that motivates many of our actions and eats away at us. We feel increasingly insecure. We all have dreams and a sense of our own potential. If we have wandered aimlessly through life or gone astray, we begin to become aware of the discrepancy between our dreams and reality. We have no solid accomplishments. We feel envious of those who do. Our ego becomes brittle, placing us in a trap. We are too fragile to take criticism. Learning requires an admission that we don't know things and need to improve, but we feel too insecure to admit this, and so our ideas become set and our skills stagnate. We cover this up with an air of certainty and strong opinions or moral superiority, but the underlying insecurity cannot be shaken. We often feel anxious and stressed, but are never quite certain as to why. Life involves inevitable obstacles and difficulties, but we have spent much of our time trying to avoid anything painful. Perhaps we didn't take on responsibilities that would open us up to failure. We steered clear of tough choices and stressful situations, but then they crop up in the present. We are forced to finish something by a deadline, or we suddenly become ambitious and want to realize a dream of ours. We have not learned in the past how to handle such situations, and the anxiety and stress overwhelm us. Our avoidance leads to a low-grade, continual anxiety. And finally, we feel depressed. All of us want to believe that there is some purpose and meaning to our life, that we are connected to something larger than ourselves. We want to feel some weight and significance to what we have done. Without that conviction, we experience an emptiness and depression that we will ascribe to other factors. Understand, this feeling of being lost and confused is not anyone's fault. It is a natural reaction to having been born into times of great change and chaos. The old support systems of the past, religions, universal causes to believe in, social cohesion have mostly disappeared, at least in the Western world. Disappearing also are the elaborate conventions, rules, and taboos that once channeled behavior. We are all cast adrift, and it is no wonder that so many people lose themselves in addictions and depression. The problem here is simple. By our nature, we humans crave a sense of direction. Other living organisms rely upon elaborate instincts to guide and determine their behavior. We have come to depend on our consciousness, but the human mind is a bottomless pit. It provides us with endless mental spaces to explore. Our imagination can take us anywhere and conjure up anything. At any moment, we could choose to go in 100 different directions. Without belief systems or conventions in place, we seem to have no obvious compass points to guide our behavior and decisions, and this can be maddening. Fortunately, there's one way out of this predicament, and it is by nature available to each and every one of us. There is no need to look for gurus or to grow nostalgic for the past and its certainties. A compass and guidance system does exist. It comes from looking for and discovering the individual purpose to our lives. It is the path taken by the greatest achievers and contributors to the advancement of human culture, and we only have to see the path to take it. This path does not require that we follow one simple line or that our inclinations be narrowly focused. Perhaps we feel the pull of several types of knowledge. Our path involves mastering a variety of skills and combining them in highly inventive and creative ways. This was the genius of Leonardo da Vinci, who combined his interests in art, science, architecture, and engineering, having mastered each one of them. This way of following the path goes well with our modern, eclectic tastes and our love of wide exploration. When we engage in this internal guidance system, all of the negative emotions that plague us and our aimlessness are neutralized and even turned around into positive ones. For instance, we may feel boredom in the process of accumulating skills. Practice can be tedious, but we can embrace the tedium, knowing of the tremendous benefits to come. We are learning something that excites us. We do not crave constant distractions. Our minds are pleasantly absorbed in the work. We develop the ability to focus deeply, and with such focus causes momentum. We retain what we absorb because we are engaged emotionally in learning. We then learn at a faster rate, which leads to creative energy. With a mind teeming with fresh information, ideas begin to come to us out of nowhere. Reaching such creative levels is intensely satisfying, and it becomes ever easier to add new skills to our repertoire. With a sense of purpose, we feel much less insecure. We have an overall sense that we are advancing, realizing some or all of our potential. We can begin to look back at various accomplishments, small or large. We got things done. We may have moments of doubt, but they are generally related more to the quality of our work than to our self-worth. Did we do our best job? Focusing more on the work itself and its quality than on what people think of us, we can distinguish between practical and malicious criticism. We have an inner resiliency which helps us bounce back from failures and learn from them. We know who we are, and this self-awareness becomes our anchor in life. With this guidance system in place, we turn anxiety and stress into productive emotions. In trying to reach our goals, a book, a business, winning a political campaign, we have to manage a great deal of anxiety and uncertainty, making daily decisions on what to do. In the process, we learn to control our levels of anxiety. If we think too much about how far we have to go, we might feel overwhelmed. Instead, we learn to focus on smaller goals along the way, while also retaining a degree of urgency. We develop the ability to regulate our anxiety, enough to keep us going and keep improving the work, but not so much to paralyze us. This is an important life skill. We develop a high tolerance for stress as well, and even feed off of it. We humans are actually built to handle stress. Our restless and energetic minds thrive best when we are mentally and physically active, our adrenaline pumping. It is a known phenomena that people tend to age more quickly and deteriorate more rapidly right after they retire. Their minds have nothing to feed on. Anxious thoughts return. They become less active. Maintaining some stress and tension and knowing how to handle it can improve our health. And finally, with a sense of purpose, we are less prone to depression. Yes, low moments are inevitable, even welcome. They make us withdraw and reassess ourselves as they did for King. They're talking about Dr. Martin Luther King from earlier on in this chapter. But more often we feel excited and lifted upon the pettiness that so often marks daily life in the modern world. We are on a mission. We are realizing our life's work. We are contributing to something much larger than ourselves, and this ennobles us. We have moments of great fulfillment that sustain us. Even death can lose its sting. What we have accomplished will outlive us, and we do not have that debilitating feeling of having wasted our potential. Your task as a student of human nature is twofold. First, you must become aware of the primary role that a sense of purpose plays in human life. By our nature, the need for purpose has a gravitational pull to it that no one can resist. Look at the people around you and gauge what is guiding their behavior, seeing patterns in their choices. Is the freedom to do what they please their primary motivation? Are they mostly after pleasure, money, attention, power for its own sake, or a cause to join? These are what we call false purposes, and they can lead to obsessive behavior and various dead ends. Once you identify people as motivated by a false purpose, you should avoid hiring or working with them, as they will tend to draw you downward with their unproductive energy. You will also notice some people who are struggling to find their purpose in the form of their calling in life. Perhaps you can help them, or you can help each other. And finally, you may recognize a few people who have a relatively high sense of purpose. This could be someone young who seems destined for greatness. You will want to befriend them and become infected by their enthusiasm. Others will be older, with a string of accomplishments to their name. You will want to associate with them in any way possible. They will draw you upward. Your second task is to find your sense of purpose and elevate it by making the connection to it as deep as possible. Alright, so I look a little different here. Something happened with the video file. It got corrupted and we only had like 2 more paragraphs to go here. So I might look a little different here. Don't worry guys, it's all good. Your second task is to find your sense of purpose and elevate it by making the connection to it as deep as possible. If you are young, use what you find to give an overall framework to your restless energy. Explore the world freely. Accumulate adventures, but all within a certain framework. Most important, accumulate skills. If you are older and have gone astray, take the skills you have acquired and find ways to gently channel them in the direction that will eventually mesh with your inclinations and spirit. Avoid sudden and drastic career changes that are impractical. Keep in mind that your contribution to the culture can come in many forms. You don't have to become an entrepreneur or figure largely on the world stage. You can do just as well operating as one person in a group or an organization, as long as you retain a strong point of view that is your own and use this to gently exert your influence. Your path can involve physical labor and craft. You take pride in the excellence of... Fuck man, I got a little stoned and it's so much harder to read out loud. You take pride in the excellence of the work, leaving your particular stamp on the quality. It can be raising a family in the best way possible. No calling is superior to another. What matters is that it is tied to a personal need and inclination, and that your energy move you toward improvement and continual learning from experience. In any event, you will want to go as far as you can in cultivating your uniqueness and the originality that goes with it. In a world full of people who seem largely interchangeable, you cannot be replaced. You are one of a kind. Your combination of skills and experience is not replicatable. This represents true freedom and the ultimate power we humans can possess. Alright, well there you have it world. I hope this benefited you in some way, and I hope you see and understand the purpose and the reasoning for having a purpose in life. Right now with social media and YouTube, everyone is a public figure, but I feel like a lot of people aren't stepping into it and owning it, documenting all the development of new skills and knowledge. Yeah, you might fail. Yeah, you're gonna grow and change as a human being, but that's what happens with human beings. It's okay to grow and change. It's okay to have new passions, to develop new skills, but a lot of people aren't documenting and sharing this and owning it as a sense of purpose in their own life. And what I love to say is that I believe if you want to attain mastery in life, which is another book written by Robert Greene, or you want to become someone who achieves greatness in their life, you need to find the things in life that you're passionate about. But how do you find those things in the first place? First, you need to experiment with as much skills and knowledge as you possibly can. Accumulate them, as Robert Greene said in this book, and you will find your purpose through that. And that's basically what the whole optimized course is for. As I said at the beginning of this video, I've taken the last 10 years of my life, all the crazy experiments that I've done, and the last 5 years of documenting it all on YouTube, and I've put it into a course that I believe will help optimize your mind, your body, your hormones, and your lifestyle so you can focus more on your purpose in life. optimizing yourself as a human being regarding your mentality, regarding your physical nature, the social nature, the environment, all these factors that affect us as human beings is stuff that honestly should have been taught to us in school. We should have been educated with this knowledge and with all these different skills throughout our childhood and our teens, but this is where society failed us, and this is where I will not fail you, and this is why I created the Optimized course. So if you guys are interested, if you want to see more lectures like this where we break down how to develop skills and knowledge and how to optimize them in your life, so that way you can advance and level yourself up faster than if you had to learn all this stuff for yourself, go check out the link in the description box below. There's a bunch of free content there so you can see if optimized is something that you want for yourself and in your life. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the course there. So go check out that link in the description box below if you want to get optimized today. Or else, if you guys just enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and of course leave me a comment in the comment section below. I want to know what you guys think, so let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I am Hungarian Experiment.